You forgive me, I prepared some remarks like the typical Nigerian public officer. And I prefer to speak off the cuff, but just because, there are a few ideas and issues that I just wanted to document, so that's why I prepared a written remark. The acting executive chairman, directorate staff, heads of departments, my other colleagues, and invited guests. Let me first express my gratitude to the Almighty God, who has made it possible for us to see this day today, and who has given us the grace to be called to serve our country, whether as chief executive or as staff of the FCT-IRS. I also want to express my profound gratitude to His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for approving my appointment as the acting executive chairman of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service. This is in furtherance of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, with specific focus on revenue generation and fiscal sustainability. I'm also profoundly grateful to His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of FCT, for giving me the opportunity to head such a critical, a major and strategic institution of the FCT at this critical time in our nation's development, and for trusting me with such an enormous responsibility. In addition, I want to recognize the leadership, support, and mentorship which I have enjoyed from the Chairman of the Federal Land Revenue Service and the Chairman of the Joint Tax Board, Dr. Zach Adedeji, PhD, in the last 1 year, and particularly for his guidance so far. As a tax professional, for over 20 years, I have closely interacted with revenue authorities at the national and subnational level, including the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, and so this is more of a homecoming for me, like the outgoing chairman has said. I want to note, because I was part of the journey from the drafting of the conception of the FCT-IRS while I was at Federal Land Revenue then, the drafting of the law and all the processes that led to its establishment, the appointment of the first substantive chief executive, and like he said, it's true that I've always been close to the service. In this regard, I want to state that the FCT-IRS has certainly made significant progress since its inception, and I also recognize the efforts of all those who have brought the organization this far, particularly my predecessor, Mr. Haruna, Abdullahi, who has navigated the service during a very difficult period. But as they say in life, the only thing that is constant is change. And today, the FCT-IRS is taking another step forward. I want to assure us all that the mandate that I've been given is a very straightforward one, which is to implement Mr. President's vision for creating a truly prosperous nation that is able to provide its citizens with the opportunities and the environment to meet their individual and collective aspirations. With particular focus on the FCT, my mandate is to support the agenda of His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of FCT, to create a modern and truly 21st century capital city that provides infrastructure, social services, and a secure citizen-friendly environment comparable to any developed nation in the world. I believe that in this regard, the Honorable Minister has already shown that he is committed to doing so, as we can all attest to with the infrastructural development ongoing and completed in the last 1 year in Abuja. This is where we, as individuals, and of course the FCT-IRS as an agency come in. No modern city was developed or can be developed without having an efficient and effective revenue system from which it derives revenue to provide the infrastructure, build the systems and institutions that enable developed societies to function properly. We therefore have a unique opportunity and responsibility to assist the FCT administration to raise the revenue required to fund its projects and discharge its other responsibilities. I note that the FCT-IRS has performed creditably in this regard, and in less than a decade, has become the second highest revenue generating subnational in Nigeria, only behind Lagos State. And when you consider that Lagos State has existed since 1967, and that the FCT-IRS is barely a decade old, I think this is no mean feat, for which I think we should all give another round of applause. Now, while this is commendable, there's still a lot of work to be done, and I will provide the leadership, the vision, and the direction for us to do so in the next few years as God will permit. Today is not a day for speech making, but it is important to state that we intend to build a much more effective and efficient organization based on the 4 pillars of people, processes, platforms, and partnerships. Our people are our most important resource, and staff welfare, capacity building, and a conducive work atmosphere will be top of my agenda. We will also work to significantly improve our internal processes and organizational structure. Our platforms will be strictly technology-based to create a strong linkage with all relevant agencies in the FCT and at the federal level of government, and a revenue-focused ecosystem in the FCT. Lastly, we will build and nurture internal and external partnerships with all our stakeholders in order to gain tax legitimacy and make the FCT-IRS a transparent, accountable, and taxpayer-friendly agency. As I resume today, I want to assure all of you that I will run an open administration, and I will depend on the support of all of you in the agency, including the immediate past acting chairman, who has been a friend, a brother, and a colleague over the years. Incidentally, I just realized that we share a similar background. He went to military school, even though their military school, I think, is inferior to our own. He went to Air Force, and I went to NMS. And I brought one of your alumni along, even though he couldn't have met you in the Air Force military school. But on a more serious note, we work together to make the transition a very seamless one with minimal disruption to our day-to-day operations. For all the staff, we will embark on a new journey from today that will make the FCT-IRS the major source of revenue for the FCT, such that FCT will be able to fund its major projects from our revenue collection with minimal dependence on federal allocation. But a word of caution. There will be no room for laxity, there will be no room for incompetence or any other negative tendencies that do not align with the vision and goals of Mr. President and the Honorable Minister of FCT. So I want to thank you all for warmly receiving me, and I look forward to working with all of us starting from now. Thank you, and God bless.